Good morning, students. So, how are you guys? So, today, students, we shall be starting a new chapter. That is chapter number 8, Audit Report. And students, we have been studying since chapter 1 that outcome of an audit is an audit report through which the auditor expresses opinion on the financial statements. So finally, we are here at chapter 8, Audit Report. So the audit report deals with expression of opinion by the auditor on financial statements. What are the contents of such report? We shall be studying this. If auditor has to modify the opinion, how he does that, we shall be studying this. How he brings to light the users of financial statements certain important matters which we call as key audit matters. So all these things we shall be studying today and in subsequent lectures of this chapter on audit report. So students, this chapter basically deals with these essays. So these are the names of essays which we are going to study in this chapter. So essay 700, it deals with auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on financial statements, and it shows, it details with a form and content of the audit report, that what should be included in the audit report. Okay. Essay 701 relates to the key audit matters. Essay 705 relates to the modification of opinion. Essay 706 relates to emphasis of matter paragraph and other matter paragraph. Essay 710 relates to comparative information. And there are also references to essay 600 using work of another auditor, say when the main company auditor uses the work of branch auditors. And essay 299 deals with the responsibilities of auditor in joint audits. We shall also be going through the statutory requirements in respect of audit report under section 143 of the Companies Act. And we shall also be studying the main requirements of CARO 2020, that is Companies Auditors Report Order 2020. So these things we shall be doing in end. Today we shall be dealing mainly with essay 700. So is it fine enough, guys? So now let us go to your module. So we are at page 8.3 of your module. Yes, students, we are at page 8.3 of your module. So finally, students, the auditor, after performing audit procedures, he obtains audit evidence. And on the basis of audit evidence, he draws conclusions. These conclusions are evaluated. He assesses these conclusions. And thereafter, after evaluating conclusions, he forms his opinion. So such opinion is expressed by means of an audit report. And it has always to be a written audit report. It can't be communicated orally. It has to be a written audit report. Okay. So SA 700 deals with auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on the financial statements, and it also deals with the form and content of audit report or auditor's report as a result of an audit of financial statements. So SA 700 deals with these two aspects. One is the responsibility of auditor to form an opinion, and second is form and content of auditor's report. So how should auditor's report look like? What is to be included in it? What are the main headings in an audit report? So before we proceed further, tell me, students, why there is need for such a standard? You would be thinking in your minds that why there is need for such a standard on audit report. Yes. Can you imagine, guys? Yes. Any reason you can give? Why there is need for such a standard? Why there is need for a standard like SA 700, which deals with the form and content of auditor's report? Yes, anybody? Yes. Suman, yes, Suman Goel, you are writing easy to understand and compare. Yes, yes, that's correct. And what about others? Any other reason? So the purpose of such a standard, the purpose of such an essay is to promote comparability and consistency, so that users, when they read the audit report, they can, if it is standardized, they can compare. And if it is not standardized, if it is unstructured, then users will be at a loss to understand the content and context of auditor's report. Okay, students. So the requirements of this essay are aimed at addressing an appropriate balance between the need for consistency and comparability in auditor reporting globally, and the need to increase the value of auditor report by making the information provided in the auditor's report more relevant to users. So obviously, when you prepare a report in accordance with with an established standard, with an established benchmark, it promotes consistency and it promotes comparability. So students, in chapter 1, we had read that all these essays are derived from international standards also. Okay, so these can be compared across jurisdictions, across countries. Okay, so therefore, this essay promotes consistency in auditor's report. But you would also be saying that if everything is standardized, if there is so much consistency, then there is no freedom for the auditor to express his observation, to express his opinion. No, this is not the case. The form also provides flexibility to the auditors to accommodate certain circumstances, to accommodate particular circumstances. Yes. Yes, so students, many of you have given correct reasons. Yes, Ashok, for quality control. Yes, It is also one of the reasons. It enhances quality. Yes. And all others, you are writing the reasons. These are similar reasons. Manish Kumar to bring a standardized format. That is also correct. Neha, easy to content the company making report. No, Neha, you are using the wrong words. Easy to content the company. It doesn't make any sense. Yes. Partha Sarthi reliability. Yes. So, students, the objective of auditor as per SA 700 are, so again, these are these are derived from the name of the SA itself. So students, I have been telling you from the very beginning, do remember the name of SA as it is. Okay, so what is the name of SA? Name of SA 700 is forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. Forming an opinion and reporting on financial statements. So, SA 700 deals with auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on the financial statements on the basis of evaluation of conclusions drawn from the audit evidence obtained and to express that opinion which he has obtained from the conclusion through a written report. Through a written report. So these are the objectives of auditor as per SA 700. So clear to you, students? Yes. So SA 700, students, it also deals with the form and content of audit report. Like how does an audit report look like? So let us see, first of all, before we move further, let us see one audit report. Yes. Yes, guys, are you willing to see audit report of a company? Yes. So this is how an audit report looks like. This is the audit report taken from published accounts of a blue chip company. So you can see there is a heading and it is addressed to the members of the company, and here it is stated the report on the audit of standalone financial statements. Okay, so here after these things there is opinion, and then there is basis for opinion, and there are certain other matters. It is a fairly long report, so I am just showing you the overview. There are key audit matters. There are responsibilities of management, auditors' responsibilities, and other things. So, in the opinion section, how does it begin? So, we have audited the accompanying standalone financial statements of this company, which include its joint operations, which comprise the balance sheet as on 31st March 23. So it is identifying the financial statements which have been audited. So balance sheet as on 31st March 23, statement of profit and loss, statement of cash flow, and statement of changes in equity for the year then ended, and notes to standalone financial statements, including a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. Okay. So thereafter, the opinion is given that this report presents a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company as at 31st March 23, its profit, okay, its cash flows and changes in equity. And then there is basis for opinion. Then there are key audit matters. Okay. So we shall again be coming to this report. So first of all, let us proceed through your module. Yes. Yes, Sushil, you are stating that you are not clear about SA 700. So SA 700 mainly deals with auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on the financial statements. Now, and form and content of auditor's report. Now, you understand that after performing audit procedures, after obtaining audit evidence, the auditor draws conclusions, and it is on the basis of these conclusions, after evaluating these conclusions, he has to form his opinion. This is his main work. This is his main job. The purpose of audit, as we had been studying from the since chapter 1, is to obtain reasonable assurance that whether financial statements are free from material misstatements. So this opinion is finally expressed through audit report. Now this is the thing which you would be handing over to your client. Okay. So this is your output. This document is your output. This document is your is output of the audit process. So SA 700 deals with auditor's responsibility to form an opinion on the financial statements, and it deals with the form and content of auditor's report. Okay. So you understand the context of SA 700, Sushil. Now, first students, we shall be dealing with the form and content of auditor's report, and then we shall be coming to these topics later on. (8.9). We are at page 8.9 of module 8.9. So the auditor's report shall be in writing. This I have told you in the beginning. The auditor's report shall be in writing. This essay requires use of specific headings which are intended to assist in making auditor's report more recognizable where audit is conducted in accordance with essays. So when an audit is conducted in accordance with standards on auditing, then this essay 700 requires that these headings should be used in the auditor's report, like title, addressee. Okay, so this heading should be used, and below this heading, there should be narrative matter. Okay. Auditor's opinion, basis for opinion, going concern, key audit matters, other information, responsibilities for financial statements. It means management's responsibilities for financial statements. Auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statements. Location of description of auditor's responsibility. Other reporting responsibilities, signature, place, date. So these are the headings which are required under SA 700 to be used in the audit report when an audit of financial statements is carried out in accordance with standards on auditing. So clear, students? So now we shall be taking up all these headings one by one. So title. The auditor's report shall have a title that clearly indicates that it is the report of an independent auditor. So उस report का एक तो title होगा clearly showing that it is the report of an independent auditor. Like we have seen in this report, there is a title, Independent Auditor's Report. So that is a must, which conveys to the users that it is the audit report of an independent auditor who has performed his work independently and without being subject to any external influences, and he has taken his decisions on objective criteria. He has performed his work objectively. So there should be title Independent Auditor's Report. And such a title has also a value that it distinguishes the report from a report issued some other reports. So because you distinguish it by using the word independent. Okay. Second point is addressee. Addressee means to whom the report is addressed. So the auditor's report is addressed to those for whom the report is prepared, either to shareholders or to those charged with governance. So in case of a company, students, you know that auditor is appointed at AGM by shareholders. So in case of a company, the report is addressed to the shareholders, to the members of the company. So like to the members. So this is the second point, addressee. Okay. And third point is opinion. So the first section of the auditor's report shall include the auditor's opinion and shall have the heading opinion. So there it shall be under the heading opinion. So like what we had seen just now, opinion. So in this heading, the auditor shall give his opinion. So if he is giving an unmodified opinion, means if he is giving a clean report, then he shall express his opinion as such. If he is giving a modified opinion, then he shall state that it is a modified opinion and change the heading accordingly. So we shall be coming to this topic uh, when we'll be doing SA 705 also. So the opinion section of the auditor's report shall also identify these things and state these things. Identify and state these things. It shall identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. So it shall clearly state कि इस कंपनी का ऑडिट किया है हमने, इस कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का ऑडिट किया है. Identify the entity whose financial statements have been audited. Second is to state that financial statements have been audited, and he has to clearly state that we have audited the financial statements. It has to be a clear express statement that we have audited the financial statements of this XYZ company. Number 3, identify the title of each statement comprising the financial statements. So जो आपने financial statements को audit किया है, उन statements को you have to identify individually, like balance sheet, like statement of profit and loss, like cash flows. Okay, so all these statements which comprise the financial statements as a whole, these have also to be identified individually in the opinion section. Okay. Number 4, refer to the notes including the summary of significant accounting policies and state specifically give a specific reference to notes including the summary of significant accounting policies, because these are also part of the financial statements, and the auditor has to specifically refer to the notes including the summary of significant accounting policies, because these are an indispensable part of the financial statements. Specify the date or period covered by each financial statement comprising the financial statement. So we specify that we have audited the financial state, say balance sheet as on 31st March and statement of profit and loss for year ending 31st March. So these all things we have to specify. So let us see our audit report. Now here, look students. Now we have audited the accompanying standalone financial statements of the name of the company. This is identified as per requirement of SA 700, which comprise the balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, statement of cash flow, statement of changes in equity, and notes. These all the financial statements are identified individually. Okay, and notes to financial statements are also identified individually. Notes and significant accounting policies. These are also identified individually. And period is also identified, is also stated. So although these are basic things, students, but these have also been standardized. These have been put in the standard. So you can see the detailing. Like it states the state of affairs of the company as on 31st March 23, its profit, its total comprehensive income, its cash flows and changes in equity for the year ended on that date. So these have been these things have been standardized. These things have been structured. Okay. So when an auditor gives an unmodified opinion, you understand, guys? Clean opinion. In common layman's language, you can say clean opinion. When the auditor says that company's financial statements express provided true and fair view. Okay, they are presented fairly in all material respects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. So the auditor in such a case doesn't have any reservations about the opinion being expressed, and he gives a sort of clean chit to the company. So such an opinion is called as unmodified opinion. Such an opinion is called as unmodified opinion. So when expressing an unmodified opinion on financial statements, the auditor's opinion shall, unless required by law or regulation, use one of the following phrases which are being regarded as equivalent. So when the auditor has decided to give an unmodified opinion, then he shall use either of these two languages, either this one or that one, or either he will state that in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects state of affairs of the company, profits of the company, cash flows of the companies in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Or he will say that in our opinion, the accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company, of the profits of the company, of the cash flows of the company in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. So the phrase is present fairly in all material respects and give a true and fair view. These are considered equivalent. These convey same meaning. So there is no difference between these two phrases. Either of these two can be used. Both of these are correct. Okay, students, is it clear to you? I am again repeating it. So when an auditor expresses an unmodified opinion, then he would be using either of these two phrases, any one of these two phrases. Either he will say, in my opinion, the accompanying financial statements present fairly in all material respects the state of affairs of the company. He would comment on the profits of the company in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Or he will use the term true and fair view. Or he will say that accompanying financial statements give a true and fair view. Okay, so let us see our audit report. So here what the auditors are saying? They are saying, in our opinion and to the best of our information and explanations given to us, the aforesaid financial statements give the information required by Companies Act in the manner so required and give true and fair view. Give a true and fair view of the what? Of the state of affairs of the company and its profit. So they are using the word true and fair. So it is in accordance with SA 700. So is it clear to you, students? Yes. So students, one more thing you have to remember, that when an auditor expresses an unmodified opinion, he does not express any reservations. He does not impose any limitations. He doesn't say that it is subject to this, it is subject to that. When you are giving an unmodified opinion, it has to be a clean opinion so that users of the financial statements, they are not confused. Okay. So when an auditor expresses an unmodified opinion, it is not appropriate to use phrases such as subject to, with the foregoing explanation, in relation to the opinion, because it might suggest a conditional opinion or a weakening of opinion or modification of opinion, कि यूजर्स को पता ही नहीं चलेगा कि ये अनमॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन है या मॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन है. अगर आप अनमॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन दे रहे हैं तो आपको ये वाली वर्ड्स, ये वाली फ्रेजेस यूज नहीं करनी है कि subject to this explanation. This type of language is not to be used when expressing an unmodified opinion, because it might convey an altogether different meaning and altogether different impression to the users of financial statements. Yes, clear to you, students? So after giving his opinion, after this opinion paragraph, yes, Rituraj, why these two phrases are given instead of suggesting one? Because these have been prevalent. These two phrases have been prevalent since long, and it has been thought proper that these both are correct, and these both convey same meaning, and it would be appropriate to use any of them. Okay. So after opinion paragraph, another paragraph is basis for opinion. Now first, what was first? First there was title, then addressee to whom the report was addressed, and after that there was opinion, and after that there is basis for opinion. Okay. So the auditor's report shall include a section directly following the opinion section with the heading basis for the opinion. So opinion paragraph के बाद कौन सा paragraph आएगा students? It would be basis for opinion. That on what basis opinion has been given, on what basis opinion has been provided. So what it would state? It would state these things. It would state these things, these four things. It would state that audit was conducted in accordance with standards on auditing. It would refer to the section of auditor's report that describes the auditor's responsibilities under essays. So, first, when we were seeing the contents of audit report, we had seen, students, that it also includes a section on the auditor's responsibilities under essays. So, basis for opinion would refer to that section which contains auditor's responsibilities under essays. Okay. And it would include a statement that auditor is independent of the entity in accordance with relevant ethical requirements relating to audit and has fulfilled ethical responsibilities in accordance with these requirements. State whether the auditor believes the audit evidence the auditor has obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for auditor's opinion. So, therefore, basis for opinion provides the context about auditor's opinion. So, it states how the auditor is saying that, say, his opinion is unmodified. What is the basis of it? So, if I am expressing an unmodified opinion, so I would state these things to conclude that my opinion is unmodified. I would say, look, I have carried out the audit in accordance with essays, and these are my responsibilities, which are separately described in a separate section. But I would state, I would refer to those responsibilities in basis for opinion paragraph. Okay. And I would also state that I am independent and I have met the ethical requirements relating to audit, and I have obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence which is necessary for expressing such opinion. So these things are to be stated in basis for opinion. So first there would be opinion paragraph, and then it will be followed by basis for opinion paragraph, which gives reasons, which provides context and logic of opinion given by the auditor. Okay. So let us see audit report. Yes. Now it contains opinion, then there is basis for opinion. It is followed by basis for opinion. So what is stated in this? We conducted our audit of standalone financial statements in accordance with standards on auditing specified under this of the Act, section this of the Companies Act it is setting. So first point is identified that the auditors have carried out audit in accordance with standards on auditing. So our responsibilities under those standards are further described in the auditor's responsibility. So second point is also identified. So what was the second point? Second point was that it refers to the section of auditor's report that describes the auditor responsibility. So we shall be coming to that, students. Auditor's report also includes a separate section on the auditor's responsibilities. But the basis for opinion paragraph, it refers to that section. Okay. So here it is referring to that section. And third is relating to independence requirements and the following of ethics. We are independent of the company in accordance with the code of ethics issued by Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, and together with the ethical statements that are relevant to our audit of financial statements under provisions of Act, we have fulfilled our responsibilities. So Again, these statements, these phrases are in line with, are in tune with, are in accordance with SA 700. And lastly, fourth point, we believe that audit evidence obtained by us is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our audit opinion. Now, here the auditors are saying that we believe that audit evidence obtained by us is sufficient and appropriate for which provides a basis for our audit opinion. So all these 4 points, students, which are required to be stated in basis for opinion section of audit report, these are stated in this audit report which we are seeing. Okay. So first 4 points are clear to you, students? Yes, first 4 points are clear to you. First point was heading, title, that is independent auditor's report. Second point was to whom the report is addressed, addressee. Third point is opinion paragraph. And fourth point is basis for opinion paragraph. Now you have to remember what is to be included in opinion paragraph and what is to be included in basis for opinion paragraph. Okay. So thus basis for opinion section provides important context about the auditor's opinion. So it clearly shows the context of auditor's opinion. Like if the auditor is saying that he has expressed unmodified opinion, then it provides a context to it. It provides a basis for that. Yes. So fifth point, going concern. So this point is the same, students, what we have read in SA 570. So if it is required, if there are certain, if there is material uncertainty regarding events or conditions that may cast a significant doubt on the ability of entity to continue as a going concern, and the same has been disclosed in the financial statements, then auditor has to include a separate paragraph in his auditor's report on material uncertainties of the kind we have read in our previous chapter on completion and review under SA 570. Okay. So I am not repeating it again. So then there is a paragraph containing key audit matters. Containing key audit matters. So students, key audit matters, you will be amazed to learn that there is a separate essay, essay 701 on key audit matters. Yes, Suman, going concern is required to be stated when material uncertainties exist. Only then it is required to be stated. Or if there is a doubt, then obviously if the going concern assumption is not appropriate, then obviously the auditor will be giving an adverse opinion. And if he thinks that going concern assumption is appropriate, but material uncertainties exist, and these have been disclosed in the financial statements, then although he will be giving unmodified opinion, but he would be giving a separate para on material uncertainties and refer it to uh, the notes on the financial statements. Yes. Sanjana Bayan, code of ethics. Code of ethics means that ethics have been codified. There is a code, there is a rule book on for chartered accountants, for auditors, what is to be, what things they can do and what things they can't do. Okay, so you would be getting an overview of ethics in your chapter 11, but you would be reading about detailed code of ethics at your CA final level. There is a complete chapter on code of ethics at your CA final level where you will be studying about do's and don'ts. Okay. So key audit matters. So there are certain important matters which there can be certain important matters which the auditor has communicated with management, with those charged with governance during the course of audit, and which the auditor thinks are quite significant, and therefore these are to be stated under the para key audit matters. You can remember it as CAM, key audit matters. And in case of listed companies, in case of listed entities, it is mandatory to state key audit matters in accordance with SA 701. So in case of listed entities, it is mandatory to state key audit matters. So we shall be reading about key audit matters when we come to SA 701. And while stating key audit matters, the auditor shall also state how these significant matters were addressed by him. He will also state what kind of procedures he adopted in respect of such key audit matters. So it is mandatory to state key audit matters in case of listed entities. So let us see the audit report which we are seeing. Now it is a listed company. Okay, so key audit matters. So there is a separate heading, separate section, key audit matters. So first of all, it defines key audit matters and then it states that these are the key audit matters and what are the auditor's response. So it defines key audit matters. So we would be studying this when we come to SA 701. So key audit matters are those matters that in our professional judgment were of most significance in our audit of standalone financial statements of current period. These matters were addressed in context of our audit of financial statements as a whole, and in our forming our opinion, we do not provide a separate opinion on these matters. So what the auditors are stating, they are stating that these are the key audit matters and this is how we have dealt with such key audit matters. Okay, but however, we do not express a separate opinion on these key audit matters, that we are expressing the opinion on the financial statements as a whole. We are not expressing a separate opinion on these key audit matters. These have been addressed. These have been highlighted here. because the auditors considered these matters as significant. These matters, they have considered it as important in the whole context of their audit of financial statements. Okay. So this is the meaning of key audit matters. Like in this case, the auditors have identified certain key audit matters, like in estimating oil and gas reserves, significant amount of significant management judgment is involved. Then how the auditors have uh, designed their procedures in relation to this. So this is their response, auditor's response. Now they have identified some matter which they consider as key audit matter. Okay. And auditor's response has also to be stated. No, Manish, auditor can state key audit matter if he wants. But in case of listed companies, it is mandatory. Okay. And like they have identified many key audit matters. Like one, they have identified another key audit matters, information technology systems and control over financial reporting. So these are key audit matters, which there are others also, because the page is not showing completely. It is quite wide enough. So I am showing you briefly. Okay. So there is one, and there are two and three on the right side, and this is number 4. So point is that you have to understand that key audit matters are those audit matters which have been identified by the auditor as significant, and these have been communicated with those charged with governance, with management, and these relate to current period, and these are dealt within the requirements of SA 701. And the auditor has also to state in his audit report how the key audit matters have been addressed by them. Like I have identified some important matter, then what I did about those matters, what was my response as an auditor, this also I have to state. Yes. So clear to you, students, key audit matters? So there is, when applicable, the auditor shall report in accordance with SA 720 some other information. So SA 720 is not in your syllabus at CA intermediate level, so you do not need to go into detail. It deals with certain other information, like say in this case also the auditors have provided certain other information. Okay. So now responsibilities for the financial statements. The auditor's report shall include a section with heading responsibilities of management for the financial statements. So again, the auditor, he would state clearly in the audit report that look, these are the responsibilities of financial statements. Again, the same things he would repeat, which we have discussed n number of times, that preparing the financial statements in accordance with applicable financial reporting framework and internal control is the responsibility of the management. Okay. And assessing the entity's ability to continue as a going concern, and whether use of going concern is appropriate. These are the responsibilities of the management. So these things would again be repeated in the responsibilities for the management, responsibilities of management for the financial statements. So these both things would be repeated. So this we have already studied in quite detail. So let us see in this audit report what they are saying. Responsibilities of management for standalone financial statements. So clearly stating that company's board is responsible for matters stated in section this with regard to preparation of financial statements and it also specifies in respect of other matters. So the page is not showing completely. So the point is that again this report also identifies the management's responsibilities for financial statements. Okay, so these points have to be acknowledged in the audit report itself. Okay. So then auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statements. It has also to be included in the audit report. So either it can be included in the body of the report itself, or it can be referred to in a separate section that look, auditor's responsibility for audit of financial statements are included, are to be found here, are detailed here. Okay, it can also be written like this. So like in this report, auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statements. So this is the heading, and it contains all the responsibilities of auditor for the audit of financial statements, like our responsibilities to obtain reasonable assurance for expressing of our opinion. Our objectives are to obtain reasonable assurance about whether standalone FS are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, and issue an auditor's report that includes an opinion. Reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee. So these are all the things, students, you have been reading since your chapter 1. Aren't these things similar? कुछ याद आ रहा है आपको स्टूडेंट्स? ये सब वही चीजें हैं जो कि आपने चैप्टर 1 में पढ़ी हैं. एंड लुक, दीज आर रिटन हियर in the auditor's responsibility for the audit of standalone financial statements. Now you would be able to correlate what you have studied in your basic chapters to practical things. Yes. Yes, students. Yes, Suman, you are stating that it was auditor's responsibility. That we have studied it in essay 200. Yes. And what does it further state? It states that high level of assurance, but it is not a guarantee that an audit conducted that an audit conducted in accordance with essays will always detect a material misstatement when it exists. So again, all the things relating to objective of audit, scope of audit. So these are all the things you have written already in your chapter 1. Misstatements can arise from fraud or error. So again, chapter 3. These are considered material if individually or in aggregate they could reasonably be expected to influence the economic decisions of users. So definition of materiality, Essay 320. So Nancy, you are saying if anything left by mistake, then this is the logic behind quality control. It means that quality control systems at the firm level are not operating satisfactorily. Okay. So as part of an audit, in accordance with essays, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. So all things, we also identify and assess the risk of material misstatement of standalone financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, and obtain audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for opinion. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than one resulting from error. So these all things you have read in chapter 3. Haven't you, students? Haven't you? So obtain an understanding of internal financial control. So this also you have read in chapter 3. So all these kind of things relating to auditors' responsibilities, these have to be stated. Yes. Yes, Livingston, this is a basic concept. You probably have not read chapter 3 properly. So misstatements that you can understand as mistakes, these can or the fact that amounts stated in financial statements are not proper, they are misstated. So what was required to be stated, that has not been stated. So it can arise from either from errors or frauds. It can be genuine errors, unintentional, or it could be intentional. It could have been done intentionally, okay, with the purpose to mislead, to commit a fraud. These may have been done intentionally. No, Suman, materiality amount is not required to be specifically stated in the audit report. It would be part of his working papers. Now, how the auditor has determined materiality, it is not to be disclosed in the audit report itself. He would state that, look, that misstatements can arise from errors or frauds, and these are considered material in such cases if they are expected to influence economic decision of users. But how he has arrived at the materiality, that is there in his audit file. That is part of audit documentation. It is not required to be stated in the audit report. Have you found it here? No. Yes, Suman, is it clear to you? Yes, Shubham. That is why we say that language in auditing paper is very important. That what you write, that is the importance of remembering. That is the importance of establishing in your mind. That is the importance of memorizing, which students fail to do, and that is why they are performing poorly in the auditing paper. because you do not write those words, those keywords, which are very soul of the auditing subject. So like if you do not use the word sufficient appropriate audit evidence, if you use your own language, then obviously the paper checker is not going to give you credit. Or if you do not write the word materiality, so these you do not use the word risk assessment. Okay. So auditors' responsibilities for the audit of financial statements, these are included in audit report. These are part of the audit report. Yes, Harmisha, auditor's responsibility contain almost the same words. Almost the same words. So it shall state three things. It shall state objectives of auditor. Now you will state that objective of auditor is to obtain a reasonable assurance that financial statements are free from material misstatements. First page, chapter 1, essay 200. Objectives of an independent auditor while conducting audit of financial statements. And it would also state that reasonable assurance is a high level of assurance and not a guarantee. So same thing was stated in the report which we were seeing, and that it would also state that misstatements can arise from fraud or errors. So again the explanation, these are the same things which we have just seen. The objectives of auditor, reasonable assurance, misstatements can arise from fraud or error. And the second, he would also state the auditor's responsibility, further responsibilities. So basic responsibilities and further responsibilities. State that the auditor exercises professional skepticism and professional judgment. Describe an audit stating the auditor's responsibility. Describe auditor's responsibilities in group audit when consolidated financial statements are prepared and auditor expresses his opinion on CFS. So these are to identify and assess the risk of material misstatement, to obtain an understanding of internal control, to evaluate appropriateness of accounting policies. So all these things. So this is all we have read just in the report. Describe an audit by stating that auditor's responsibilities are to identify and assess the risk of material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, to design and perform audit procedures responsive to those risks, and to obtain the audit evidence that is sufficient and appropriate for auditor's opinion. Now this line we had also read. The risk of not detecting a material misstatement resulting from fraud is higher than for resulting from error. Though the chances that financial statements are misstated, that there are misstatement, is higher in case of fraud, because in case of fraud it would be cleverly done. There would be a scheme to hide the things. So there are greater chances of not detecting material misstatements resulting from fraud than from errors. Okay. To obtain an understanding of the internal control relevant to the audit, to evaluate the appropriateness of the accounting policies used in the and the reasonableness of accounting estimate, to conclude on the appropriateness of management's use of going concern. Now here the auditor's responsibilities give a passing reference to going concern. That auditor's responsibility section states कि ऑडिटर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है मैनेजमेंट ने जो गोइंग कंसर्न यूज किया है उसकी अप्रोप्रिएटनेस को करने की, लेकिन वो सेपरेट पैरा तभी देगा अगर मटेरियल अनसर्टेनिटीज हैं तो, इन केस ऑफ अनमॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन. यस, when the financial statements are prepared in accordance with fair representation for framework to evaluate the presentation, कि जो उनकी प्रेजेंटेशन है फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट की स्ट्रक्चर और कंटेंट वो ऐसा है कि वो फेयरली रिप्रेजेंट करती हैं स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स को कंपनी के. ओके, so when SA 600 applies, describe the auditor's responsibilities in a group audit engagement. So this SA 600 we shall be coming in later part of this chapter. And all what you have read till now, students, all is included here. Like the auditor's responsibility shall also state that auditor communicates with those charged with governance, the planned scope and timing of audit, significant audit findings, and significant deficiencies in internal control. So where you have read this, students? We have read just this in last chapter, SA 260, SA 265. अभी लास्ट चैप्टर में तो स्टूडेंट्स हमने पढ़ा है SA 260 और 265 में. Okay, so for audit of financial statement of listed entities, state that auditor provides with those charged with governance with a statement that auditor has complied with relevant ethical requirements regarding independence. So it is compulsory to be stated in case of listed entities where the auditor confirms to TCWG that he has met all the independence requirements. Okay, so this we have also read in SA 260. Remember, students, SA 260. We had read in SA 260 that it is compulsory for the auditor of a listed entity to state that, to communicate and state with TCWG that that he is independent of the company, that he has met all the relevant ethical requirements regarding independence. Okay. So location of the description of auditor's responsibility for the audit of financial statements. इसका क्या मतलब है? What is the meaning of this? Location of description of auditor's responsibility for audit of financial statements. इसका मतलब है कि जो ऑडिटर की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज हैं फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स में, वो कहां पे लिखी जाती है, वो कहां पे लोकेट होती हैं. सो ईदर इट कैन बी इंक्लूडेड विद इन द बॉडी ऑफ द रिपोर्ट, रिपोर्ट के अंदर, जैसा कि हमने अपनी इस रिपोर्ट में देखा है. सो these are included here within the body of the report. These are included here within the body of the report. So what is the body of the report? The main report. So these are included within the body of the report here. So these are included here in the body of the report. Or what does SA 700 say? These can be included within an appendix to the audit report. या एक सेपरेट आप अनेक्शर लगा दें क्योंकि इतनी सारी ऑडिट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, सो दैट the text of the report, the main text of report doesn't become too bulky. ओके, सो आप एक अनेक्शन लगा दें, एक अपेंडिक्स लगा दें जहां पे कहें कि ऑडिटर्स रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी यहां पे है, और यू कैन गिव a specific reference within the auditor's report to the location of such a description on a website of an appropriate authority. Okay, where it is permitted by the law and regulation, और कि किसी वेबसाइट का आप रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे ऑडिटर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लोकेटेड है, और उस वेबसाइट की रेफरेंस दे सकते हैं, प्रोवाइडेड इट इज परमिटेड बाय लॉ टू डू सो. ओके, so these are the things. Other reporting responsibilities in students, besides that, besides responsibilities which are there in standards on auditing, there can be other responsibilities of auditor in accordance with the law. So say if the audit is being conducted under Companies Act, in case of companies, so certain matters have to be reported in accordance with the requirement of Companies Act 2013. So it would be included in separate section on report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Like Companies Act 2013 specifically asks the auditor to report on certain matters. It also asks the auditor to report on matters specified in an order which is known as CARO 2020, Companies Auditors Report Order 2020. So these matters are to be specifically stated under the heading report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. So let us see this report. So this is like a separate heading is also there, and to which this is points which are there in CARO 2020. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements section of our report. So there would be a separate heading in this report, a report on other legal and separate requirements. It would be on this side because the page is wide enough. I'll try to show you. Look, this report on other legal and regulatory requirements. So till now we were dealing with what is required by standards on auditing. Now we are dealing with what is required by the law, by the requirements of specific law, by the requirements of Companies Act 2013, because the audit is being conducted under Companies Act 2013. Okay. So report on other legal and regulatory requirements as required by section 143 subsection 3 of the Act. We report that. So all these things you must have read in your company law classes. Yes, students. Have you done section 143 subsection 3 in your company law classes? What are the matters required to be stated therein? In the audit report as per section 143 subsection 3 of Companies Act. So all those matters which are required to be stated under 143 subsection 3 of Companies Act, these are stated here under the heading report on other legal and regulatory requirements. Yes. Are you familiar with 143 subsection 3? Yes, students. Manish, you are saying not covered in detail there. No, in your company law syllabus, it must be in detail. All these points should be there. So anyway, we shall be studying these points when in later parts of lectures remaining pertaining to this chapter. Not today. So these are the points which are required to be specifically stated under Companies Act. These are matters which are required to be specifically stated under Companies Act. So these would be included under a separate heading, and the name of this heading would be Report on Other Legal and Regulatory Requirements. Clear? So understand this much. Then there are signature of auditor. So auditor, this is also an important part of audit report. So without signatures, it doesn't carry any value. So therefore, SA 700, it states that auditor's report shall be signed. The report is signed by the auditor in his personal name. जो आदमी जो पार्टनर साइन कर रहा है वो अपने नाम में उसको साइन करेगा. And when the firm is appointed as an auditor, say if a partnership firm is appointed as an auditor which has many partners, the report is signed in the personal name of auditor and in the name of audit firm, like this. Like say XYZ is a firm which is appointed as auditor of a company, and it is a partnership firm consisting of 10 partners. So the audit report would be signed as for XYZ company, chartered accountants. Name of the partner X. Name of the partner. And he would sign it here. And he would also state his membership number of ICAI. Okay. So remember, when the firm is appointed as an auditor, the report is signed in personal name of the auditor and name of the audit firm. It contains the name of the firm also and name of the personal name of the auditor also. Okay. So place of signature. The auditor's report shall name specific location, which is the city where the audit report is signed. So when you are signing the report, so you have also to mention place, date. So place would normally the place where you are signing the report, where your office is located. Okay, it is not client's place, because you would be assembling the things, you would be performing all other works at your office. Okay, so it would be the place where the audit report is signed. Date of the auditor's report. The auditor's report shall be dated no earlier than the date on which auditor has obtained sufficient appropriate audit evidence. So ये तो है ही स्टूडेंट्स. आप ऑडिटर रिपोर्ट जब साइन हो गई तो उसके बाद का उसके बाद की डेट का ऑडिट एविडेंस है तो उसकी क्या रेलिवेंस है. So therefore, all the audit evidence has to be obtained before the date of auditor's report. Okay. Including evidence that all the statements that comprise the financial statements have been prepared and those with recognized authority have asserted that they have taken responsibility. It means that you have to take written representations before the date of audit report. Remember, students, because by this way, through this document, management is saying to you that that we have taken responsibility for preparing the financial statements, and this was our responsibility. So they are again confirming to you through the means of written representation, which should obviously near the date of audit report, but before the date of auditor's report. And one more important thing is, students, UDIN. UDIN is Unique Document Identification Number. Now, this requirement was started about 5 years ago, students. Now, there is a portal of ICAI, UDIN portal. So there is a portal of ICAI, UDIN portal. So one has to go there, one has to log in. The engagement partner who is signing the report, he has to log in with his login credentials, and he would input certain key points in relation to the audit report on the financial statements which he has audited, like whether it is a company audit or whether it is an audit performed under Income Tax Act. So these kind of things he would be punching, and he would be asked to also punch some key data pertaining to financial statements of the company, like turnover, like say net profit ratio. So the 2-3 parameters are there. So after successfully punching and after punching the date of signing of the report, a number is generated, a alphanumeric number is generated, which is called as unique document identification number, which is called as UDIN. Okay, so it is also required to be stated on every audit report. Remember, students, it is required to be stated for every audit report. And not only for every audit report, it is now mandatory for every certificate to be signed by a chartered accountant. Okay, so during as part of his professional work, as part of his professional activities, the auditor has to give certificates also to his clients on a number of matters regarding say net worth of a client, regarding say paid up capital as per books of accounts, regarding say investment in plant and machinery. So the auditor checks, the chartered accountant verifies these things from the records and gives a certificate. Now it is mandatory for chartered accountants, for auditors to generate a unique document identification number, which is called as UDIN. It is an alphanumeric 18-digit number, and which also includes the membership number of the engagement partner who is signing the report. Okay, so this is unique document identification number. Yes, Devraj, the meaning of UDIN is unique document identification number. So because what is the purpose of this UDIN? What is the objective of this UDIN is so that there were complaints being received by ICAI that persons were fakely representing, fakely giving signatures of CAs, and they were fakely representing themselves as chartered accountants while they were not. So to curb such malpractices, it has now become mandatory for chartered accountants to generate a UDIN, unique document identification number, and to state this UDIN on every audit report and on every certificate issued by them. Okay, so this is the importance of uh, unique document identification number UDIN. So it looks like this. It is an alphanumeric number. Alphanumeric. Yes, students, is it clear to you? Yes, Harmisha, what is your query? You are saying, will subsequent events have to be considered? Yes, subsequent events have to be considered. All the events up till the date of audit report. So subsequent events, by their very definition, these are the events occurring between the date of financial statements and date of auditor's report. So these have to be considered. The auditor has to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence by performing the procedures for subsequent events. Yes. So clear, students? So this kind of UDIN is required to be generated in case of all, like say students, in this report, this is the name of the partner, and see, UDIN is generated. It has UDIN is generated. It is a joint audit. So two firms have signed. So how many digit it contains? 18 digit. Okay. Yes. Clear to you, students? Yes, is it clear to you? So we'll take a short break and come back after few minutes. So short break for 10 minutes. So Yes, welcome back, students. So, Manish, you are asking two different signing date possible in case of joint audit. No, how it can be possible? Because in such a case, what about the written representations? What about the subsequent events? So the date would be same. Yes, Vaishali, you are saying it is written the date of signature in audit report not earlier than audit evidence. Yes. So evidence found after signing the report and sent to third parties. No, you are again confusing, Vaishali. Look, the requirement relating to subsequent events has to be understood in this manner. First, you understand the definition of subsequent events. So, what is the meaning of subsequent events? As per SA 560, it is those events which occur between the date of financial statements and date of auditor's report. This is the one part. And second part is the facts which became known to the date of auditor which became known to the auditor after date of auditor's report. He doesn't find any new evidence. These are already, it is the case that some facts were existing as on the date of auditor's report, but the auditor was not aware of these facts. And had these facts been known to him as on the date of auditor's report, then he would have amended his audit report. Then, if such is the situation, then only the auditor asks management to amend the report, to amend the financial statements, and he issues an amended report. Or if these financial statements have been issued to the third parties, he asks third parties not to place reliance on such financial statements. So it is not that after auditor's report, the auditor finds some new evidence. If he comes to know of some fact after the date of auditor's report, which is of such nature that if it had been known to him on the date of signing the audit report, he would have changed his report. He would have changed his mind. It is not question of a fresh piece of evidence. So it is a fact, some fact which comes to the knowledge of auditor, which if it had been known to him on the date of signing of his report, it would have led him to amend his report. Then in such case, he would ask management to amend the financial statements and he would issue a amended report. Yes. Yes, Vishali and Manish Kumar, the points are clear to you. And Harish Chandra, yes, in joint audit report has to be signed by both auditors. Because how you are going to fix responsibility in case the report is not signed by all the auditors? Obviously, if joint audit is conducted, the report has to be signed by all the auditors. It is only when that they would be assuming their responsibility that they have conducted the audit. Yes, Vaishali, is it clear to you? So, students, now we have read about two kinds of opinion, unmodified opinion and modified opinion. So the auditor expresses an unmodified opinion when he concludes that there are no material misstatements in financial statements and these have been prepared in all material respects in accordance with the applicable financial reporting framework. Both the things convey the same meaning. If we say, like, this is the same thing we have read when we were seeing how the auditor expresses an unmodified opinion. So either he can say that that financial statements of company, that financial statements of entity are prepared in all material respects in accordance with applicable FRF, or these give a true and fair view. So meaning of both is same. So in such case, he expresses an unmodified opinion. But in what case he expresses a modified opinion? So SA 700 says that the auditor will express modified opinion in these two circumstances. He will express modified opinion in these two circumstances. Now, what are those two circumstances? These circumstances are if he concludes that based on audit evidence obtained. Now, this is very important. This is very important. If he concludes based on audit evidence obtained, he has obtained audit evidence on the basis of which he is concluding that financial statements as a whole are not free from material misstatements. Number one, he obtains audit evidence. Number two, he concludes on the basis of those audit evidence that financial statements are not free from material misstatements. कि मेरे पास evidence है, मेरे पास कोई document है, and I, on the basis of that evidence, I believe that financial statements are not free from material misstatements. So I would say that I need to express a modified opinion, that I am not in a position to give a clean report. I would express a modified opinion. Okay. No, Devraj, unmodified opinion means opinion is clean. It is not modified. It is not it is without any reservation. It is without any condition that I am saying कि जो मैंने ऑडिट किया, जो मैंने चेक किया, जो मैंने ऑडिट एविडेंस ऑब्टेन किया, उसके हिसाब से आपकी जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स हैं वो ट्रू एंड फेयर व्यू रिप्रेजेंट करती हैं. ओके. Or in second condition, if he is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence to conclude that financial statements as a whole are free from material misstatements. So it can also be possible that he is not in a position to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Like management ने उसको cooperate ही नहीं किया, management ने suppliers के address नहीं provide किए, मैनेजमेंट ने डेटर्स के ट्रेड रिसीवेबल्स के एड्रेस नहीं प्रोवाइड किए जो प्रेजेंट एड्रेसेस हैं, तो वो कंफर्मेशन नहीं भेज पाया, तो वो कैसे सफिशिएंट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑडिट एविडेंस ऑब्टेन करेगा? तो उस कंडीशन में भी वो अपना ओपिनियन मॉडिफाई करेगा. सो रिमेंबर स्टूडेंट्स, there are two circumstances, two conditions where in which the auditor has to modify his opinion. First condition is, number one, that he concludes based on audit evidence obtained, that he has obtained the audit evidence, and on the basis of such audit evidence he is concluding that financial statements are not free from material misstatements. Or second condition is, if he is unable to obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to conclude that financial statements as a whole are not free from material misstatements. So in these circumstances, the auditor shall modify the opinion in accordance with SA 705. ना अब ओपिनियन मॉडिफाई कैसे करना है, मॉडिफाइड ओपिनियन में भी different types हैं. Like one type is qualified opinion, one type is adverse opinion, one type is disclaimer of opinion. So किस किस कंडीशन में कैसा ओपिनियन देना है, these matters are dealt within SA 705. सो SA 700 इतना बताता है कि ऑडिटर को अपना ओपिनियन मॉडिफाई किन सरकमस्टांसिस में करना है. लेकिन मॉडिफाई करने की क्या रिक्वायरमेंट है, वो कैसे मॉडिफाई करना है, वो SA 705 में उसके बारे में बात होती है कि क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन किस कंडीशन में देना है, एडवर्स किस कंडीशन में देना है, डिस्क्लेमर ऑफ ओपिनियन किस कंडीशन में देना है. वो जब हम SA 705 पढ़ेंगे तो उसमें समझेंगे कि क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन का मीनिंग क्या होता है, एडवर्स का क्या होता है, और डिस्क्लेमर ऑफ ओपिनियन का मीनिंग क्या होता है. क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स, इज इट क्लियर टू यू? And there are certain terms, students, which you need to know. There is a term general purpose financial statements. Yes, students, you have read it probably in your accountancy. Have you read it? What is the meaning of general purpose financial statements? Yes. Can you tell what is the meaning of general purpose financial statements and what is general purpose framework? Do not see from your module. If you know, just simply write, but do not copy and paste from your module. वो तो अभी हम कर ही लेंगे. मैं वैसे स्टूडेंट्स आपसे जनरली बात कर रहा हूं कि क्या आपने जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, आपको पता है क्या मीनिंग है इस टर्म का, या जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क क्या होता है वो मालूम है? आपने अकाउंट्स में पढ़ा है क्या? यस. यस, एनीवन? यस, सुमन गोयल. Okay, you are ahead of the time. Yes, you said it. You are saying that you have read it yesterday. Yes. So, general purpose financial statements are those financial statements which are prepared in accordance with general purpose framework. Okay. So, question arises, then what is the meaning of general purpose framework? जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स वो होती हैं जो कि जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क के हिसाब से बनती हैं. सो जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क क्या होता है? जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क मींस a reporting framework, a financial reporting framework designed to meet the common financial information needs of a wide range of users. किसी एक स्पेसिफिक यूजर के लिए वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट नहीं है. जैसे ये कंपनी की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट सभी आपने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट देखी, या जो इसके साथ फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स हैं, बैलेंस शीट है, प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस है. अब इसको देयर आर वाइड रेंज ऑफ यूजर्स. आप bankers can also use, government can also use, shareholders can also see, any person who has say 1000 shares or 100 shares of this company, he can also use, he can also see. Okay, so creditors can also see, investors can also see. So those financial statements which are prepared in accordance with the general purpose framework are known as general purpose financial statements. And a general purpose framework is a financial reporting framework designed to meet the common financial information needs of a wide range of users. These are not a group of select users. किसी कुछ खास लोगों के लिए बनाया गया फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क नहीं है. ये वाइड रेंज ऑफ यूजर्स को, अलग अलग टाइप के यूजर्स के लिए बनाया गया फ्रेमवर्क है. उसको हम जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क कहते हैं. इज इट क्लियर? So students, you have to remember that general purpose framework is to be distinguished from special purpose framework. कुछ स्पेशल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क भी होते हैं जिसमें कि फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, स्पेशल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बनती हैं. लाइक किसी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर कोई कंडीशन है कि उसको कंप्लीशन के लिए जो उसमें कॉन्ट्रैक्टिंग पार्टीज हैं उनको फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स चाहिए किसी फॉर्मेट में. ओके, सो दोज फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स आर रिक्वायर्ड for a special purpose, and these are prepared in accordance with requirements of special purpose framework. So those statements are called special purpose financial statements, and those are distinguished from general purpose financial statements. Clear है? जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स का मतलब है वो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स जो कि जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क के हिसाब से बनती हैं. एंड जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क मींस a financial reporting framework which meets the requirements of, which meets the common financial information needs of a wide range of users. Common financial information needs of a wide range of users. This is the key phrase which you have to learn. Common financial information needs of a wide range of users. Oh, Suman, in India, as far as preparation for income tax, financial statements for preparation of income tax are concerned, these are considered general purpose. These are not considered special purpose. Okay. So the term, I am talking about India, Suman, yes. The term fair representation, now general purpose framework can be of two types. General purpose framework can be of two types. It can be a fair representation framework, or it can be a compliance framework. Okay, so what is the difference between the two? Fair representation framework and compliance framework. So fair representation framework, students, you have to understand that it is a framework which acknowledges, which states that we can go beyond what is there in the financial reporting framework to achieve fair representation. To achieve true and fair view, we can go beyond, we can disclose more things from whatever is stated in the applicable reporting financial framework. So this is the basic idea of fair representation framework. Whereas in case of compliance framework, it means that it doesn't have such an idea. It would comply with the requirements of the financial reporting framework. So this is the essential difference between the fair representation framework and compliance framework. Okay. So the term fair representation framework is used to refer to financial reporting framework that requires compliance with requirements of framework, and it acknowledges that to achieve fair representation, it may be necessary for management to provide disclosures beyond those specifically required by framework. कि जो उस फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क में कहा गया है उससे भी ज्यादा, उससे भी अलग कुछ चीजें डिस्क्लोज अगर करनी है तो कर सकता है टू अचीव फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन, सो दैट a true and fair view is of the state of affairs is depicted. Okay. Or it acknowledges that it may be necessary for management to depart from a requirement of framework to achieve fair representation. और वो ये भी कह सकता है कि भैया कोई ऐसी बात है आपके रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क में लेकिन उससे फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन अचीव नहीं हो रही, तो हम इस रिक्वायरमेंट से हट के चलेंगे. वो भी एक्सेप्शनल सरकमस्टांस हो सकता है, लेकिन हम उस रिक्वायरमेंट से हट के चलेंगे टू अचीव फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन. ओके. एंड कंप्लायंस फ्रेमवर्क विच डजंट मीट अबव कंडीशंस, which doesn't meet above conditions 1 or 2. So this is the difference between fair representation framework and compliance framework. So एक बार, yes Nancy, you are saying to explain it in Hindi. So students, first of all you have to understand the meaning of general purpose financial statements. General purpose financial statements वो होती हैं जो कि जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क के हिसाब से बनाई जाती हैं. और जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क क्या है? जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क वो है ऐसा फाइनेंशियल रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क है जो कि कॉमन फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन नीड्स को पूरा करता है वाइड रेंज ऑफ यूजर्स की. किसी कुछ ग्रुप ऑफ यूजर्स, एक सिलेक्ट यूजर्स की इंफॉर्मेशन नीड्स को वो पूरा नहीं करता है. जैसे कि हमने ऑडिट रिपोर्ट देखी तो ये यूज हो सकती है इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए भी, ये यूज हो सकती है गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटीज के लिए भी, ये यूज हो सकती है बैंकर्स के लिए भी, शेयर होल्डर्स के लिए भी, क्रेडिटर्स के लिए भी. ओके. तो जो फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क के हिसाब से बनती है उसको हम जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बोलते हैं. और जनरल पर्पस फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स जो है और जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क वो दो टाइप का हो सकता है, फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन फ्रेमवर्क और कंप्लायंस फ्रेमवर्क. फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन फ्रेमवर्क जो है वो जो जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क में जो रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, जो डिस्क्लोजर की रिक्वायरमेंट्स हैं, उसके अलावा भी कुछ रिक्वायरमेंट्स के बारे में डिस्क्लोज कर सकता है जो कि नेसेसरी है फेयर रिप्रेजेंटेशन अचीव करने के लिए. लेकिन कॉम्प्लायंस फ्रेमवर्क में ऐसा नहीं होता. वो जो रिपोर्टिंग फ्रेमवर्क में जो कंप्लायंस की रिक्वायरमेंट है उतना ही कंप्लाई विद करता है, उससे ज्यादा कुछ नहीं. ओके. क्लियर नैन्सी? यस नैन्सी, इज इट क्लियर टू यू? यस. So students, you have to understand and you must be knowing also that to form an opinion the auditor obtains reasonable assurance. and for this he has to first of all obtain audit evidence, and on the basis of audit evidence he would be drawing conclusions, and on the basis of conclusions he would be making evaluations. He would also be seeing whether uncorrected misstatements are material individually or in aggregate. So these things are important for him to form an opinion. क्योंकि opinion कैसे बनेगा? So always remember this sequence. Always remember this sequence in your mind. To form an opinion, what the auditor has to do. First of all, he would perform audit procedures. Then what he would do? By performing audit procedures, what he will get? He would obtain audit evidence. He would be obtaining sufficient appropriate audit evidence. And on the basis of audit evidence, what he would be drawing? He would be drawing certain conclusions. And then he would be evaluating, he would be assessing those conclusions. And it is on the basis of evaluating, it is on the basis of assessing those conclusions, he would be reaching at this opinion. He would be reaching at this opinion, which he would be expressing by means of an audit report. So clear students, ये आपको सीक्वेंस अपने दिमाग में ये बिठा लीजिए, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. ये जो आपने अब तक पढ़ा है ना, उसकी 4 पॉइंट्स में एक जिस्ट है, उसकी 4 पॉइंट्स में एक समरी है. ऑडिट प्रोसीजर्स, ऑडिट एविडेंस, कंक्लूजन्स, इवेल्युएशंस, ओपिनियन. ओके, yes Suman, yes you are right. So दिस इज व्हाट आई बीन टेलिंग यू कि आपने चैप्टर तो पढ़ लिया उसको, लेकिन जो आपने पीछे कंसेप्ट्स लर्न किए थे उसके साथ कोरिलेट नहीं किया, उसकी कोई आपने लिंकेज एस्टेब्लिश नहीं की. तो आप फिर अगर आप लिंकेज एस्टेब्लिश नहीं करेंगे तो आप एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड या एनालिटिकल क्वेश्चंस एग्जाम में कैसे टैकल कर पाएंगे? तो आपका दिमाग तो एक जैसे डिब्बे में बंद होती है ना चीज, उसी तरह काम करेगा. लेकिन अपने दिमाग को आपने ऐसे काम नहीं कराना है कि एक डिब्बे में बंद चीज है और उसी के बारे में सोचना है. आपने दिमाग को ओपन अप करना है, सोचना है सब चीजों को मिला के, टोटली होलिस्टिक व्यू लेते हुए. यस Yes, students, clear. Yes, Shyam Goyal, you are asking me to again explain fair representation framework. Yes, okay. मैं आपको हिंदी में भी एक्सप्लेन कर देता हूं दोबारा. अभी मैंने किया. आपने ये समझा है कि जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क वो फ्रेमवर्क है जो कि कॉमन फाइनेंशियल इंफॉर्मेशन नीड्स को पूरा करता है ऑफ ए वाइड रेंज ऑफ यूजर्स. अब जनरल पर्पस फ्रेमवर्क इट कैन बी a fair representation framework और एक compliance framework. fair representation framework का क्या मतलब है? fair presentation framework का क्या मतलब है? कि जो फेयर पोजीशन दिखाता है, ऐसा फ्रेमवर्क जो कि फेयर पोजीशन दिखाता है स्टेट ऑफ अफेयर्स की. तो जो कि जिस फ्रेमवर्क के हिसाब से आप फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बना रहे हो, तो उसमें हो सकता है कि मैनेजमेंट को लगे कि इससे बढ़ के भी कुछ डिस्क्लोज करना है, तभी वो फेयर पोजीशन दिखाएगा. ऐसे तो सिर्फ जो उसमें लिखा है वही दिखा रहे हैं, लेकिन उससे फेयर पोजीशन पता नहीं चलती. फेयर पोजीशन दिखाने के लिए हमें कुछ और भी दिखाना है, तो उसको हम कहते हैं फेयर प्रेजेंटेशन फ्रेमवर्क. और कॉम्प्लायंस फ्रेमवर्क है जो फ्रेमवर्क में बताया गया है, जिसके अकॉर्डिंग फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स बन रही है, बस उसी तक वो रहता है, उसके अलावा नहीं कुछ करता, उसके अलावा फेयर प्रेजेंटेशन की तरफ नहीं जाता। ये श्याम गोयल, इज इट क्लियर टू यू? Yes, Shyam Goyal, is it clear to you? Please tell me. Yes. So, when students, when an auditor makes evaluations, so he would evaluate qualitative aspects of the entity's accounting practices, like the management has to make judgment on a number of things, on amounts, disclosures made in financial statements, like whether accounting policies are proper or not in the circumstances. So all these things relate to qualitative aspects of entities accounting practices. Okay. Yes, Nancy, you are saying ऑडिट रिपोर्ट एक ही टाइप से बनती है, या ऑडिट रिपोर्ट उसी फॉर्मेट में बनेगी अगर आपने स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑन ऑडिटिंग के हिसाब से ऑडिट कर रहे हैं, एसए 700 के हिसाब से जो एसए 700 में दिया गया है उसी के हिसाब से ऑडिट रिपोर्ट बनेगी। अगर आप अपना ओपिनियन मॉडिफाई करना चाहते हैं, आपके ऑब्जर्वेशन है, तो भी एसए 705 बताता है आपको कि आपको कैसा ओपिनियन देना है। वो आप पे डिपेंड करेगा कि आपने क्या कंक्लूजन्स ड्रॉ किए हैं। अगर आपके कंक्लूजन्स जो आपने ड्रॉ किए हैं वो क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन की जरूरत है उसमें, तो आप क्वालिफाइड ओपिनियन देंगे। अगर आपने जो कंक्लूजन्स ड्रॉ किए हैं उसके हिसाब से आपको एडवर्स की जरूरत है तो आप एडवर्स ओपिनियन देंगे। लेकिन स्ट्रक्चर जो है ऑडिट रिपोर्ट का वो यही होगा जो एससी 700 में। यस। Okay. So specific evaluations by the auditor. So the auditor shall evaluate these things specifically, that financial statements disclose the significant accounting policies, that accounting policies applied are consistent with applicable framework and are appropriate, that the accounting estimates are reasonable, and information presented in financial statements is comparable, relevant, reliable, that it contains all the disclosures, and the terminology used in the financial statements is appropriate, including the title of each financial statements. That कि जैसे अगर बैलेंस शीट लिखा हुआ है ऊपर तो वो बैलेंस शीट ही होना चाहिए। अगर कंपनी की बैलेंस शीट में स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस लिखा हुआ है तो वो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस ही होना चाहिए। ठीक है। Is that clear? Yes. So Nancy, you are saying that you have read somewhere 3D audit report. What is that? No, there is no such thing, Nancy, 3D. No, no, no. There is no such thing as 3D. It is the report in form 3CD. So when an auditor uh, conducts audit under Income Tax Act, then he has to give report on certain matters which are required under Income Tax Act. Now the main report is there in form 3CB, and the matters which are required to be stated as per income tax law, जैसे किसी पार्टी को एक दिन में 10,000 से ऊपर पेमेंट तो नहीं कर दी, इस टाइप की चीजें हैं। कोई 20,000 से ऊपर का आपने लोन कैश में तो नहीं लिया, तो ये सब चीजें फॉर्म 3CD में ऑडिटर को देनी होती है। दैट इज ऑल टुगेदर ए डिफरेंट मैटर। ओके। ऑडिट रिपोर्ट तो एसए के हिसाब से ही बनती है। वो 3CD में जो स्पेसिफिक मैटर्स हैं जो इनकम टैक्स के अंदर रिपोर्ट करने हैं वो फॉर्म 3CD में होते हैं। तो उसमें ऑडिटर लिखता है रिपोर्ट में कि द मैटर्स विच आर रिक्वायर्ड to be stated in form 3CD are enclosed and the report is given in form 3CP. So that is a specific requirement of income tax act. Okay. Yes, clear to you, Nancy? So students, फटाफट कुछ करेक्ट इनकरेक्ट टाइप देख ले। थोड़ा सा समय है हमारे पास। आर यू रेडी स्टूडेंट्स? The auditor's report does not include a section on responsibilities of management for financial statements. Now, whether this is correct or incorrect? Yes. The auditor's report does not include a section on responsibilities of management for financial statements. Yes, this is incorrect. This is false. This is incorrect. As we have seen that auditor's report includes a section on the responsibilities of management where the management acknowledges that it is its responsibility to prepare financial statements and all other matters going concern. It is its responsibility to see whether going concern assumption is appropriate or not, internal controls. So all these things are included in management's responsibility. So this statement is false. Second, UDIN is required to be generated for audit reports only. Now, whether this is correct or incorrect? UDIN is required to be generated for audit reports only. Yes. Yes. This is also incorrect. Yes. This is incorrect. So you have to write here that UDIN is required to be generated for audit reports and for certificates. Now there is a difference in both the things, audit reports and certificates. Like I have given you example of certificate. Like your client comes to you and asks you to give a certificate on investment in plant and machinery as per books of accounts. So you would be certifying only that information. So UDIN has to be generated not only on audit reports, but also in case of certificates. So you have to write this reason. Yes, Harmisha, you have to write the proper reason. You cannot write that audit reports and other documents. You have to write audit reports and certificates. Okay. Clear? Yes, third. In case of a company, audit report is addressed to board of directors. Yes, this is also incorrect. In case of a company, audit report is addressed to members. Audit report is addressed to the members of the company. In case of company, audit report is addressed to the members of the company. Yes, Livingston, yes, you are right. Suman, you are also right. No, Devraj, how it is correct? We had seen the report of a company. It is second point of the structure of audit report, of the contents of audit report as per SA 700. It is clearly stated there that in case of a company, the report is addressed to the members. Okay, to the members or shareholders, both are correct. Both are correct. Bhumika, you are also right. Fourth, yes, in case opinion is to be modified by the auditor, it shall be modified in auditor's report in accordance with requirements of SA 700. Yes. No, this was slightly tricky. So students, the opinion is to be modified by the auditor. It shall be modified. How it is to be modified? This is dealt with in SA 705, not in SA 700. SA 700 only tells us that you have to modify, what is unmodified opinion and what is modified opinion. It doesn't tell us that how it will be modified, what are the requirements of modifying it. So these requirements of modifying is also dealt with in SA 705. It is incorrect. Yes, now Suman, yes, you are writing rightly. Yes, you are saying sometimes question is half visible. Okay, that's fine. Okay, students, so that's over for today. We had a great time together. So see you on Monday for next topic, that is modification in auditor's report SA 705. Very, very important. Not only practically, but also from examination point of view, very, very important. Okay. So thank you, students. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving a patient listening. Thanks a lot.